Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Sunderland. If you have never seen anything of me before, I am a personal trainer and have been in the fitness industry for over 7 years now, and I've been helping women, one-to-one PT, online PT, helping them to lose weight for over 7 years. So this is what I love to do, and I love to motivate and help women lose weight. Now, what I wanted to do today was do a video on the top 3 tips that I can give you in order for you to lose weight this year and to maintain that weight loss as well. You know, a lot of women out there have lost weight over the years but have failed to maintain the weight loss, and this is a huge problem. And unfortunately these days in the fitness industry, there is a lot of marketing, out there surrounded by quick fixes and, quick 8-week programs, 4-week programs, and it kind of sends the wrong message to people. You being able to lose the weight that you want to lose and to maintain it is not something that you can just do in a 4-week period. Weight loss is a long-term thing. It's not just a 4-week thing, it's a long-term thing. It's if you want to lose the weight and maintain the weight loss, you've got to make permanent lifestyle changes and changes that you can maintain. This is where a lot of women go wrong, is that they are always looking for the quick fixes. They want to kind of take the shortcut, get the quick results as quickly as they can, but you're kind of looking past and you're failing to look at ways that you can, maintain your results and continuously get results over a long period of time, rather than just getting results for a 4-week plan or getting results for a quick couple of months and then, putting the weight back on. So I'm really all about long-term weight loss. I'm really all about long-term lifestyle changes. And, if I can challenge you to change your perspective on weight loss just a little bit today, then my job here is done. I feel like a lot of the times in the fitness industry these days with, Facebook, Instagram, all the rest of it, the fitness industry does fail women sometimes. I feel like it does, because it does promote, like I said, the quick fixes. There's a lot of images out there these days of women that look like have these amazing bodies. So it can sometimes set unrealistic expectations around what someone potentially, what kind of results they could potentially get in a certain period of time. You've got shows like The Biggest Loser. You've got crazy marketing before and after photos, and the problem is that we don't see what happens and what goes on behind the scenes. You don't see how long it's taken someone to get that kind of result, and what that basically does is sets that unrealistic expectation for women. And I feel that it's horrible, because what that does, it makes women think that they're not getting a result, and that they're not, what they're doing by eating healthy and exercising is not really working, because they're not getting quick results. The first thing I really want to tell you before we get into the 3 tips is that, your result and how quickly you lose weight is going to be completely different to the person next to you. And, all those images that you see on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, The Biggest Loser, all those kinds of things, you've got to understand that every person to person, the circumstances are completely different. So what's going to work for one person won't work for the other person. You've got to understand that there's, all different things involved. How fit you are, how much time you have, how much sleep you're getting, how stressed you are, the quality of food that you're eating. There are so many variables. So I want you to first understand that your journey is your own, and you cannot compare your own journey to someone else's. So that's really one thing that I really wanted to let you guys know, is that progress is progress. So no matter how small the progress you think this, no matter how small you personally think the progress is progress. So if you are making progress, you just keep going. I'm telling you, just keep going at it, because all those little small progresses that you think is tiny, eventually they add up to a big change, right? So small changes always add up to big changes. So if you are making progress, keep with it. No matter if you think it's tiny, no matter if it's not that 5 kilos that you were expecting, small changes, like I said, always add up to the big changes. And it's those small little increments and continuous increments, consistent small losses is what's going to add up to the big goal. So rather than aiming for huge losses like you see on the TV and like you see on, you know, Facebook and before and after photos, aim for small increments, okay? Consistent small increments. It's no good losing 5 kilos 1 week and then nothing for a couple of months, right? What you want to aim for is losing like maybe 500 grams a week. If you consistently lose 500 grams a week for a couple of months, that adds up, right? And the thing is that you're doing it at a slow pace and at a pace that your body can manage. Right, so we're going to get into these 3 tips that I was telling you about. And look, these tips are very practical. Some of them are very practical, so I'm going to give you some real practical advice on how to lose weight in 2018. And this is basically based at people that want to lose weight. My forte and my specialty is helping people get started and helping them to transform and form better habits and make smarter and healthier choices. So this is specifically for people that are wanting to lose weight, around about the 10 kilo plus. If you're wanting to lose that amount of weight, this is perfect advice for you. Other people can, you know, get some great information from this live video as well. But the first tip that I wanted to give you is that, first of all, and you've heard this plenty of times before, I'm sure, but first of all, you need to really make sure that you are focused on your food, right? Your nutrition is going to get you the result, right? No matter how much exercise you do, if your nutrition is not up to par, you are not going to see much change unless you're one of those genetically gifted people. You know, I've seen those people that have amazing bodies and they don't do anything, right? If you're one of those people, then this obviously isn't for you. But, you know, for everyone else out there, you really need to make change to your nutrition. And unfortunately, food is the hardest part to change. Women really struggle with the food part. But the first thing I want to let you know is that a lot of people think that the harder and the worse a diet feels, like the harder it feels, the more painful it is, the more good that it's doing you. But I want to let you know that that's not true. You know, if you're eating correctly and you're eating enough food, you're eating nutritiously dense food, you should actually feel better. You should feel energized. You shouldn't feel deprived. You should feel satisfied. Like, you should feel satisfied, like you're not starving yourself. You should actually be able to enjoy the food. You should feel motivated, right? But what a lot of people do is that they go on these diets that make them feel deprived. They feel depressed. You know, they feel absolutely exhausted. You know, they can't function properly. You can't train properly because you're cutting out all these different food groups. You're not eating enough calories. You're basically starving yourself. And a lot of people go that route to weight loss, but I'm letting you know now is that it doesn't have to be that way. And if that's the route that you're going, I strongly suggest rethinking your strategy. You know, it doesn't have to feel that bad. Weight loss does not have to feel that painful. Yes, it's going to take some change. It's going to require you to make changes to your lifestyle, which is hard. It's going to require you to cut out the crap, right? The sugar, you know, too much alcohol, deep fried food, takeaway, all those kinds of things. Yes, it's going to require you to make some sacrifices, but after like a month or two or a couple of weeks, depending on how quickly you are on the uptake, it should actually start to feel good, and you know, you stop craving those kinds of things, right? So very important that you try not to go for that quick fix, and usually quick fixes feel horrible trying to do it. And trust me, I have been on really hardcore diets in the past and they are horrible. I remember looking lean, looking fabulous, but feeling like horse crap on the inside. You know, I couldn't even walk up a hill without feeling so puffed because I just felt so unfit. I was so tired. I was really under eating my calories, and you know, I just wasn't feeding my body what it really needed to function properly, first of all, and to also, like, you know, to hold on to muscle mass and get leaner. So very important that if you are going down the diet route, that you understand that you don't have to go down that way if you don't want to, but if you like to do that, then go for it. When it comes to food, you know, the main thing that you need to do is get the right knowledge on, you know, making sure that you're eating enough calories. A lot of people undereat their calories, making sure that you're eating enough calories for the activity that you're doing and for your goal. First of all, you need to make sure that you're eating lots of nutritiously dense food. So food that's actually going to help your body recover, repair, and give it what it needs to be fit and healthy, right? The healthier and the better that your body is and your body feels, the more clearer and better you're going to feel in your mood as well. You're going to feel more motivated. You're going to feel, just happier in your mood, all those kinds of things. So very important that you make sure that your nutrition is on point, right? Just remember this, you cannot out-train a bad diet, no matter what you do. And you look, I've been there where I used to go to the gym and I'd have Maccas as a reward. And a lot of people do that. I've seen, when I've worked in gyms, I've seen people get off the treadmill, go straight to their bag and eat a Mars bar. And I've seen it. And I just thought, wow, like, you've kind of, what was the purpose of you doing that workout, right? So very important that you get your nutrition on track, right? If you've been working out, for the last year, or in 2017, you were exercising heaps and you still weren't able to budge any weight, you need to start looking at your diet and what's going on there, because that is the key for you to really start to change your body composition and to get the weight loss that you're really after. Secret number 2. So secret number 2 is, well, it's not really a secret. I should really change that. But my point, I should say, number 2, is doing the appropriate exercise for your goal. So this is a big one. A lot of women still to this day and age do a lot of cardio, and there definitely is a place for cardio in a weight loss goal. Definitely. But the type of cardio matters. A lot of women out there are absolutely thrashing themselves, like going for really long runs, and they hate it. Like, they hate every second of it. You guys are doing like crazy, like really hardcore HIIT classes where you're getting out of there and you're drenched in sweat, you're like beetroot face kind of thing. And you're not enjoying what you're doing either. You're just doing it because you think it's going to get you to your goal. A lot of the times, if you have a fair bit of weight to lose, a lot of the times working out harder is not necessarily going to get you to your goal. And this is something that I've learned over the years with clients. A lot of women train really hard, like they exercise really hard, but sometimes they overdo it and you work out too hard. And I know that sounds so counterintuitive, but you've got to think of it this way. And we're going to go on to this point a little bit later, but you've got to think about it this way. Let's just say you're carrying an extra 15 kilos. Your body is already under stress, right? You carrying around that extra 15 kilos, your body is under pressure, it's under stress. And then on top of that, what you do is you go and do a really hardcore HIIT session, which is, you're smashing it at the gym, you're absolutely thrashing yourself to the point of near vomit, right? You're just training super duper hard. What you got to understand is that type of training adds extra stress on top of your body. And I'm going to cover this later, like I said, but those extra stress, the thing you got to remember and know about stress is that stress will prevent you from losing weight. Right, so we're going to go back to that later, and I'm going to explain that a little bit more. But what I want to tell you is that if you want to lose weight and you've got, let's just say, 15 kilos to lose, the best thing you can start doing is LISS cardio, which is low intensity, steady state cardio, which is just walking, right? Just consistent walking. If you can just start walking throughout the day, if you can get up in the morning time on an empty stomach, go for a walk. Go for a 30, 40-minute walk, come back, eat breakfast. And if you can do that, every second day, you're going to see massive change, right? You're going to start to really drop that weight, okay? And if you combine that with weight training and resistance training, so training that's going to actually build muscle mass, because what most of you women want is to lose weight and to tone up, right? You don't want to lose weight and be flabby, right? The only way that you can tone up is to build muscle mass. The only way you can build muscle mass is by doing resistance and weight training, right? Another advantage of doing resistance and weight training and building up your muscle mass is that you start to change your body composition, right? The more muscle mass that you have in your body, the higher your metabolism is going to be, right? The higher your metabolism is, the more fat you're going to burn. So this is win, 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 right? So very important that you start to incorporate, once you get to a point where you can, once you get to a point where you can start to do resistance or weight training, do it, right? Some people can't do it to begin with because they have a lot of weight to lose. So what you need to start doing is to doing that list cardio, and list cardio and concentrate on your food, right? Really concentrate on your food. Start getting rid of the crap that's in your diet. And I'm sorry to say, but if you've gained weight, there's something wrong with your diet that you need to address, right? So very important you do that list cardio, you concentrate on your diet, and then as you start to lose the weight, then you can start incorporating in some resistance training and weight training into your schedule. And that could look like things just like body weight exercises, things like squats, lunges, you can, push-ups, tricep dips, all those types of things are really going to start to they're big compound exercises. You use lots of different muscles to do those workouts. You also activate your core when you're doing them as well. So that's really going to start to help you build more muscle mass and help you burn fat at the same time. So very important that you are doing the correct exercise for your goal. Just going for a run because you think that's the best way to lose weight and someone told you about it is not going to suffice anymore. And I'm sure you've been trying it for a long time, but you've got to get really specific. If you're serious about losing weight, you've got to get serious about how you're going to go about it. You can't just do a bit of this and a bit of that and expect to get to your goal, right? A bit of this and a bit of that equals a bit of this and a bit of that in your results. But if you're specific and you do a specific you do specific things that are going to actually get you to your goal and have a plan of attack and a plan to get you to your goal, you're going to be so much more successful, compared to if you just do this and that and you read this, so you tried that and you saw that thing in the diet and you thought you'd add in some goji berry, all this other crap, right? You've got to be very specific and very consistent with what you're doing to try to get you to your goal as well. And the final point, and which is what we kind of touched on before, is stress management. This is a huge one for women and it is so underestimated. It's not really talked about a lot in the fitness industry, but this is something that I've learned myself firsthand. And also I've worked with living in Sydney and working in the city for a lot of my career. I've really noticed a huge problem with stress. Sydney, like corporates in the city, in Sydney, most are really crazily stressed, like so stressed out. So, I've had a lot of experience with that and I've seen what it does to people. I've seen what it does to women as well. I feel like women have a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure to be a lot of things to a lot of different people. And we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves as well. But all that stress amounts to things, all that stress, it amounts to, emotion, like how you feel emotionally, it amounts to you emotionally eating, it amounts to you binge eating, it amounts to you to drinking wine every night after work because you just need to deal with your stress and release, it amounts to you being demotivated to do anything, right? Because you just can't be bothered and you're just so overwhelmed with everything. It amounts to you not doing exercise because you feel so exhausted and tired because you're running around after everyone, right? So very important that first of all you understand that your stress, right? If you're really chronically stressed, you're going to find it really hard to lose weight, right? So you need to address your stress, or at least you need to understand it and be aware of when it's happening. The thing is about stress, and the thing that you've got to know about stress is that when you're stressed out, your body naturally releases the stress hormone called cortisol, right? And the thing you got to know about cortisol is that while cortisol levels are high in your body will not burn fat, right? And also what cortisol does, it also encourages your body to store fat and it stores it around your stomach, right? So it is like horrible. It is your worst nightmare when you're trying to lose weight. So, very important that you try to keep your stress levels down. You will have a little bit of stress, and a little bit of stress is not really going to hurt you. It's actually quite healthy to have a little bit of stress, a little bit. Okay, but the problem comes in is when you have a constant underlying stress. And the problem with underlying stress is that you're not even aware that you have it because you're so used to functioning on a high stress level that you don't even realize it, right? And this is where the problem comes in. So, you've got to start to become more aware of what's actually happening in your life. You know, be aware of, you know, how you're feeling. Are you feeling stressed out? Are you feeling under pressure? Do you feel overwhelmed? Are you hating your job? Things like, you know, surrounding yourself with people that stress you out, or surrounding yourself with people that are negative, or people that you don't like. I mean, that creates stress. You know, being in a household where, you know, you feel pressured, or you feel, you know, you're walking on eggshells all the time, or let's just say, for example, you're living with someone that you don't like, or, you know, you and your partner are constantly fighting, or whatever that may be, all those types of things create extra stress, okay? It creates stress. And like I said before, as long as there's stress in your life to that extent, you're going to find it really, really hard to lose weight, whether it be because your cortisol levels are high, whether it be because you binge eat, whether it be because you turn to wine, you know, whatever that may be. Stress affects us in so many different ways, and not just from a point of view of how you deal with your stress. You know, a lot of people think, oh yeah, stress affects me because of how I deal with it. But it's not just that. It's from a, you know, a physical point of view. What your body does and how your body reacts to stress will also prevent you from losing weight as well. So stress is like a huge one, and it's so overlooked. You know, you've got to really make sure that you are addressing these things. And this is why, you know, after a couple of years in the industry, I really changed the way that I approached my clients. I really changed the way that I approached weight loss. And, you know, through personal experience as well, I changed the way that I, you know, coached my clients and coached myself, you know, because, you know, through personal experience, I went through a time where I burnt out, right? I really burnt out, and that was just from stress. And I'd never known that could happen before. I was like 24 years old and I burnt out like I was, you know, 80 years old or something like that. I thought that I was a machine. I thought that I was, you know, that no one could touch me, that I was untouchable, that I was, you know, superhuman, that I could do everything. I could, you know, do this, do that, feel stressed and all those kinds of things. But one day I just could not get out of bed, right? 10 days I could not get myself out of bed. And after that period of time, it really taught me, it really changed the way, like I said, approach weight loss. And the way that I approach weight loss these days is from quite a holistic point, right? I kind of approach it quite holistically, because I understand that there is so much more to weight loss than just exercise and nutrition. And, you know, a lot of people, when they approach weight loss and they're looking to lose weight, they only ever really focus on exercise a lot. They don't focus on nutrition enough, but they do focus on it a little bit, but then they forget all the rest. The thing you would understand is that for you to lose weight, and for you to lose weight over the long term, you've got to look at what's going on in your life as a whole, right? Are you too stressed out? Are you getting enough sleep, right? Are you getting good quality food? You know, are you happy in your job? Like, all these things affect you. I'm telling you now, you think that they don't, but they totally do, because it affects, you know, the way that you feel. And anytime that anything affects the way that you feel, right, and if it makes you feel bad, you've got to find some coping mechanism, you know, and most of the time the way that people cope is eating bad food, or drinking alcohol. There's other vices as well, but most of the time that's it. And that's how you start to gain weight. Right? That's how you start to gain weight. Think back to a time where, you know, you've gone through a stressful period. To give you an example, I've had a client recently who broke up with their partner of 8 years. And they'd had a tummy for a long time. Ever since I've known them, they've had a tummy. And, you know, as a trainer, it's very frustrating because, you know, you can see that something's holding them back, but I can't do anything about that. Until someone's ready to change, they won't change. But basically, they were with them for 8 years, and then their relationship broke off, and all of a sudden they lost all the weight, just gone, because there was something going on, or they were unhappy about the situation, and they didn't even realize it. You know, that they were drinking wine like nightly, basically, and that was contributing to the, you know, eating bad food as well. That was contributing to not being able to get up for training, contributing to not wanting to exercise, all the rest of it, right? And they didn't even realize. And as soon as that relationship broke off, they lost all the weight, fit as a fiddle, within 6 weeks. So stress is a big one, and it's something to really think about and really start to look at. And this is the perfect time, the start of a new year, to really start to look at what's going on in your life, in your life, and what could be influencing, you know, the way that you eat. You know, what could be influencing you to want to drink on a nightly basis? You know, is there things that you're not dealing with? Is there something in your life that's making you unhappy? And all of this matters. All of this matters when it comes to weight loss. I'm telling you now, it's not just as superficial as exercising and eating right. When that is practically, that's what it's about. But if you know, are finding it really hard to break through, you need to start looking at what's going on. Anyway, I hope everyone has an amazing day. And if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about today, please let me know. You know, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you do have and help you get on the right track and to really get in your best shape for 2018. You know, it's really about being consistent and, you know, doing the right things. And that's what it's, you know, what I really want to help people understand is, and get out there, is the right knowledge to help you women really, you know, take control and lose the weight that you've been wanting to lose for a long time. Anyway, I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye.